Have you ever stopped to think about how kind of weird it is that we all just trust a metal box on the street with our money? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pry that box open and take a look at the surprisingly simple, really elegant system that makes it all possible.
You've been there, right? I know I have. You put your card in, you hear all the whirring sounds, you're waiting for the cash to pop out, and then nothing. The machine just spits your card back out. In that little moment of panic, do you ever wonder what is actually happening inside that machine to make that decision?
All right, so let's get into it. To really get how an ATM handles a mistake, first, you have to understand the one single fundamental rule it's built around. It has one primary goal above all else. And that's it. That's the golden rule. Forget about being fast or convenient. Those are just nice bonuses. The entire design, every single sensor, every gear, every line of software is all in service of this one unbreakable command. An ATM isn't just a cash dispenser. It's designed from the ground up to be a guardian of assets. Okay, so how does a machine actually follow that role? Let's pull back the curtain and follow the journey of your money through the machine's guts millisecond by millisecond. The secret really is all about data. You can think of an ATM as a super obsessive accountant that writes down every single thing that happens in a detailed log, every bill that moves, every little door that opens. It's all tracked. Nothing is ever left to chance. And the level of detail here is what's really key. So when you start a withdrawal, the machine first logs the exact number of bills it's pulling from the cash tray. Then it logs which tray it's pulling from. And finally, and this is the most critical step, a little sensor confirms whether or not those bills actually made it past the exit slot and into your hands. That's the whole ballgame right there. Now, that's what happens in a perfect world. But, what happens when things go wrong? What if the power flickers, or the network drops, or a bill gets jammed? Right in the middle of all that. And this is where the real genius of the system kicks in. The ATM never, ever guesses. It doesn't just assume you got the money, it doesn't assume it's still inside. It goes straight back to the one source of truth it has, its own internal logs. So the machine's software checks its log for one specific piece of information. Did that exit sensor get triggered? If the log says no, the transaction is instantly and automatically reversed in the system, your account isn't touched. But if that log says yes, the sensor went off, then the transaction is marked as complete. It's really that simple. It's a binary choice. But the checking doesn't just stop there with your single transaction. There's another super important layer of security going on behind the scenes. We can call it the daily reckoning. It's basically a self-audit where the machine checks its own work at the end of the day. So every single day, the ATM does some pretty simple math. It knows exactly how much cash it started with, and thanks to its logs, it knows exactly how much it gave out. So from that, it can calculate precisely how much cash should be left inside. It's just like balancing your own checkbook. Then it does an actual physical count of the bills left inside. And if that physical count doesn't perfectly match what it expected to find, bam, a red flag goes up, the machine immediately calls for help, flagging itself for a human inspection. The system is literally designed to catch its own mistakes. All right, so let's just zoom out for a second. This whole system of logging, verifying, and self-correcting, it's more than just clever machine design. It's a perfect, real-world example of something called an architecture of trust, a system built to be so reliable you don't even have to think about it. And this is why. This simple, really robust system is the reason banks are comfortable letting machines handle literally billions of dollars in physical cash with almost no direct human supervision. That's a huge level of trust, and it's what makes our modern financial system work on such a massive scale. So let's put a name to this idea. Automated trust. It's this whole concept of building systems that are so accountable and so good at verifying themselves that they can manage really important things, like our money, without a person needing to watch over their shoulder every second. This whole logic really comes down to three key things. First, tracking. Every single movement of an asset gets recorded. Second, verification. The system is constantly checking itself for mistakes. And third, incentives. The whole structure is set up to ensure accuracy and to hold itself accountable. I mean, this same logic is the foundation of almost all modern financial technology, from the Venmo app on your phone all the way to the complex world of cryptocurrency. So in the end, this elegant architecture of tracking and verifying is what took a skeptical public and turned us into a population that trusts a random machine with our hard-earned money. It's a system built on proof, not promises. So the final question I'll leave you with is this. Now that you know what to look for, where else in our world do you see this powerful architecture of automated trust at work?